Alrighty, so it's time for your final assignment. And it's basically finish and share. And really, we finished in the end of week 16. So you should be at this point just moving code around. Do address any issues I pointed out in your last submission for step 6, as I don't want those to hit you here, right? And not only that, you're going to showcase it. So think about that in terms of, like, in your career, if you were showcasing this to, let's say, a possible employer or to a team, that you would really want it to shine. So if there's something in here that you feel like, you know what, I wish I would have done this, right? Polish this part of it. Now, if you wanted to add additional functionality, I'm not going to tell you not to, because projects are great in the sense that they can help you build possible projects for a future portfolio. So, like, you could take these concepts that you've learned here and come up with some kind of idea that would further something you've thought of. So just think of that. But so this is our decision making app showcase. So you deploy your step 6. Okay. So what you want to do here is, and this is not should not be a big deal because we've done some of this, but in your public repo, right? You'll create a new folder called Final. Okay, and then you copy all the contents from week step 6 into that. It should be your pub right here. I'll change that Final folder. Okay, so you create it up here, you copy it in here, you do a commit, and then you push. And then once you've done that, then your URL should be, and we haven't used this URL in a couple weeks, so it might not be a bad thing to bring it back. Just to remind us, it's CIT93.github.io, whatever your private repo is, /final. Remember, when you're creating the folder, it should be all lowercase. And also keep in mind that when you push code to the GitHub, this is what we call the live URL or your GitHub pages, that it does sometimes lag. Like, I've had students wait as much as 30 to 40 minutes. And if you don't see it show up, there is a way to go look at that commit that you did and make sure it doesn't have an X in it, because that could be some issue in there. I've only seen that like once this semester, but in general, right, it shouldn't take, it may not be immediate, but it could take a little time. So then you go to that URL, make sure it is hosting your step 6 output. Okay. So then provide the URL, right, in for your live app. Again, test it, make sure it works. And then what decision does your app help the user make? Right? Talk about that. Describe the if then or branching logic you're most proud of, right? And I suspect most of that will be probably related to your decision making app, but it could be somewhere else. But most likely it's there. What was the most difficult hurdle you overcame? In coming this app, in creating it should be. You overcame in creating this app. Okay. So talk about those things in your post for full points. And then do 2 replies here. I didn't have you do them on attendance, but I want you to do it here. So, like, test their link, right? Tell them, right? Was it, did it work? If it didn't work, for sure, reply and tell them that, right? Did the app's logic lead to a sensible decision? Right, and maybe identify one JavaScript feature, DOM manipulation, event handling they implemented effectively. Now, again, in this case, we all follow a similar design pattern, so it wouldn't necessarily be that different, but you probably could find some things that are unique, because there are definitely a little tweak I noticed in some of the approaches that students took here. Okay, so this is the way I grade it, and make sure those replies get in here. So this will be due. I think I talked about this in the last one, right? So this is our normal due date. So I will grade this here. And I just finished talking about late work. So hopefully you're not in that cycle, but if you are, make sure you're getting that in and using those late passes. So again, this should be pretty straightforward. Copy that final code into your public repo after you create that subdirectory. Do a commit, make sure your link works, and then do your post. And then do your replies. Check somebody else's. All right. Have a great summer. And I look forward to talking to you in the future or over the summer or whenever it might happen. Have a good one.